In our 2026 Formula One season, there have been so many reports on whether or not Max Verstappen is leaving the Red Bull team, he's talking to McLaren, he's frustrated with the team, and typically I tend to ignore a lot of these headlines/articles. Mainly because it's based off of speculation and there's not really much to go off of other than maybe some paddock rumors. But I will say, as of lately, 2 crashes and 2 GPs that have both been because of the car, and clearly some frustration is coming from the Verstappen camp and the man himself. I tend to believe this could be the closest we see Max leaving, and the team has to do a better job of making that car faster, more reliable from both an engine and, weirdly enough, an aero department. I really think Silverstone was a disaster. Austria could be excused as a one-off, but he even said in the race there were issues with the rear wing. We're going to discuss it all, Silverstone being that bad and frustration clearly coming from Max Verstappen. Let's go over the kind of crisis happening within the team right now. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Would mean the world to me. Let's get started. Max, towards the very end of the GP, was running in third. I do believe he was defending and doing a great job on Lewis with the machinery that he was given. On that hard tire, the car clearly looked slower. On the medium, it was catching Russell and doing okay. On the hard tire, this has been a common trend with the Red Bull team. They tend to lack. I'm not sure if it has something to do with tire temperatures, but I think that would make sense. The tires are always in a much colder window than they are for the other teams, and tire wear has been an issue as well, so I guess they're kind of in that limbo as of right now. Max Verstappen loses the car at Stowe, sudden oversteer, rear wing issues arise again, he is in the gravel. Post-race, Max was blunt, it's just painful. He relieved it's the same occurring problem as in Austria, the rear wing not closing properly, massive loss of downforce on every corner entry, super dangerous. I was lucky twice, but you really get fed up with it. For a while now, he's been refusing to declare that he will be racing for Red Bull in 2027, and even the technical director, Pierre Wache, isn't sharing all of the info with the engineer because he believes that there will be fear that it's leaked to McLaren, which I think is just insane. So I guess some of the talks with him speaking to Zach Brown at McLaren are true, but if you really take a look around the grid, I think McLaren is the team that he should not join. He can pick any team he wants to. The only real contender that you can truly trust will be in this title battle, probably for every single season in this regulation period, is Mercedes. Ferrari is even a if on that as well, but they have a secure lineup for a long time. The most trusted and reputable reporter on Max Verstappen and anything surrounding him is a Dutch reporter by the name Eric van Haren. Anything he says pretty much becomes true, and he makes sure the information is correct. He's gone on to say that the crash is just the tip of the iceberg for Max Verstappen and the tension surrounding the team. There's major tension inside Red Bull. Max feels unheard by his own team and engineers. And if we take a look back at Canada qualifying, he pushed for a setup change and an engine swap. The bright minds at Red Bull ignored him and it cost him. He was also pushing for a change completely on the setup going into the race today. They ignored it. He said he was having issues from the engine side. He ended up actually getting out-qualified by Isaac Hadjar. Now, I think that might happen once in a while, but clearly something was going wrong with Verstappen. He looked better in the race, but that rear wing issue arose again. What's worse is Max's camp is in conflict with top brass. He refuses to commit to 2027, and as I stated before, Pierre Wache is allegedly holding some information from Max's engineer to not leak it to rivals like McLaren or anybody that Verstappen is talking to. We know there's been some discussion with Mercedes from the previous seasons. But the biggest thing is the situation is not healthy and Verstappen himself feels ignored. Not only that, we do know how Verstappen's father is. He likes to get involved in the politics, and of course Max, being the son, will listen to his father. If it's not going good here, they will leave. He is, of course, the top man in Formula One. We've seen that over the seasons. He is just very valuable to any team he joins, both from a marketability standpoint and pace. He will try and deliver you that championship no matter what's happening in the season. There have been huge ups and huge downs. The new regs clearly have made the RB22 struggle. Verstappen's been fighting with the car all year, poor balance, top speed deficits at some point, reliability nightmares, multiple crashes, which we have not seen from Verstappen in a long period of time. In the ground effect era, I think maybe at maximum. In each season, he had 1 crash. So far, we've seen 3 in qualifying alone. And clearly, he's publicly frustrated with the team and, of course, the FI and the regulations, but mainly with the team. He's been much more critical than he has been over the years. It's been a very big change for him as well, because the team started with Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, all the other engineers and employees that were there are pretty much gone. Jonathan Wheatley. I mean, I can go on and name plenty of others, but plenty of people are just leaving the team and joining others for better salary points. Clearly, that dominating team is a shadow of its former self. Max is a fighter, but even he admits he is not mentally doable long-term like this. The 4-time champion built a legacy with this team. But I do believe that the window for Red Bull is closing if this continues. There is too much unreliability within the team and the car itself. They ended up bringing that huge upgrade package in Austria, and clearly it delivered pace. But again, this is a rear wing problem. Something on the rear downforce of the car is not working correctly. From our view, it's very hard to tell if the wing is closed fully or not, but Red Bull have came out twice now and said there are parts of the rear wing that are not closing correctly and he is losing downforce because of it. When he did end up crashing in the race, this was not the first time that he was having that oversteering moment. He was constantly catching the car, but it was continuously getting worse. And you can't just drive like that because you are constantly on the limit. It is only a matter of time before the car loses way too much downforce going into that corner, and that's exactly what ended up happening. From an engine standpoint, their energy management is really bad. Do they have the outright top speed? Yes, but because of the way that ADUO is set up, and Mercedes, in my opinion, manipulating the way that the measurements are taken for them to actually get an upgrade and Red Bull to not get it, they will have that deficit for the rest of the season and even going into 2027 unless they do something to fix it. But I find that very hard to believe because Mercedes is also holding stuff back. Other teams are going to go up. I think Red Bull might just go back unless they can really make a step up in the aerodynamic department. Not to mention, they started the season very far behind from an aerodynamic view. The engine did pretty good on a couple of tracks, but wherever there's high-speed corners, that's typically where the car struggles. The way that it supercharges is just weird and very inconsistent for the drivers. They do like it in low-speed corners, and the mechanical grip is not too shabby, so they do a good job on the top speed, blasting out of the corners. But it is the foundation cracking. One more major failure, and the driver from Red Bull that's been untouchable for a long time could definitely start looking elsewhere. And I think he's already set his eyes on a couple of different teams and possibly even a different sport, knowing how Max is. Now, next up is what I would say is one of his home races, the Belgian GP. This is going to be a very power-dependent track, so we will see, yet again, the Red Bull car probably be in a stronger window than it is on other certain tracks, but it is going to be a big test for that team because Mercedes is bringing a huge upgrade here. Ferrari is clearly making steps continuously. Will the Red Bull car start falling behind? They put a lot into this Austria package. I do believe there is still some more potential in that car, but they've used a lot of the cost cap already on aero management. Ferrari probably has too, but Mercedes still has a lot more to give. So does McLaren. They've both been teams that have been a little hesitant on upgrades. So if they're not delivering after the summer break, which is rumored to have more Red Bull upgrades, then this really could be the last season we see Max Verstappen in a Red Bull, which would just be very odd. I think also for the Belgian GP, a must is fixing that rear wing because there are so many high-speed corners there where it can be a very dangerous crash. And he's even gone on to say he just does not enjoy what is happening. It's just making him feel horrible while racing. And of course, the end product is him not finishing the race. So he's definitely not going to be a very happy man. I think if they didn't have the issues in Austria, he probably could have won that GP as well. So it just becomes a bigger and bigger problem if this continues. So if there is no fix in Belgium, I think we're going to see an extremely mad Max Verstappen, and it's just going to continue to crack at that foundation more and more and more, and there's only so much he can put up with. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Right now, the top 4 teams are pretty close. If Red Bull starts falling out of there, that could definitely question whether he sticks into the team, but also other people. Are we going to see some firings? Will Mekies stay into the team? will they look to a different technical director? Pierre Wache is definitely going to get questioned after Silverstone. It's going to be a lot of pointing of the fingers, and we're going to have to see who stays and who doesn't, especially under Verstappen management, which clearly is the Red Bull team. They care most to retain him, and they're running after him even after interviews. It's going to be very interesting from now on. Thank you all for watching the video. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.